Guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the darkest corners of the internet, a place that's more legend than reality, which is Red Rooms. You've probably heard about them in horror stories, creepy forums, or YouTube rabbit holes. But how much of it is real? Red Rooms are these gruesome live-streamed torture events, just an internet myth. Buckle up because we're going deep, really deep. Okay, first thing first, what even are Red Rooms? The concept is pretty simple, but it's horrifying. The idea is that somewhere on the internet, specifically on the dark web, there are live streams where people are tortured or even killed, and the viewers, they pay to watch or even decide what happens next. The name Red Room supposedly comes from the fact that these rooms are soaked in blood. You know, red equal blood, creepy, right? But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's break this down and see if this is fact or fiction. To understand Red Rooms, we need to go back where the idea came from. One of the earliest mentions was in Japanese horror flash animation called Red Room from 1999. In it, people will see a pop-up on their computer asking, do you like the Red Room? And if they didn't close it, they'd end up dead. It's kind of like the internet version of Ghost Story. Over time, the idea evolved. People started mixing it with real-world fears about the internet, like hackers, snuff films, and the dark web. So this creepy urban legend started taking a life of its own. Alright guys, quick crash course for anyone who's not familiar with the dark web. So basically, the internet, imagine it has three main layers, okay? Surface web, deep web, and dark web. Surface web, this is what you see every day, like Google, YouTube, Instagram, and all other stuff. It's what's indexed by search engines. The deep web, it's everything that isn't indexed, like private emails, banking info, and medical records. It's not shady, it's just not public. The dark web is the sketchy part. It requires special software like Tor to access it. It's mostly anonymous, which makes it a heaven for illegal activities, but also for like activists and journalists in oppressive countries. So when people talk about Red Room, they're saying these horrific live streams happen on the dark web, hidden from the eyes of regular internet users. Now let's get into the big question. Could Red Rooms actually exist? The short answer is probably not, but let me explain why. The first issue to go through is the bandwidth issue. So live streaming videos, especially in high quality, takes a lot of bandwidth. The dark web isn't built for that. Most dark web sites are simple and tech savvy because the network is slow. Hosting a high quality live stream, pretty unlikely. The second part is anonymity problem. People use the dark web to stay anonymous, but running a live stream with payment that leaves a digital trail, like cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, isn't 100% untrustable. Law enforcement agencies like FBI have successfully traced criminals on the dark web before. The third issue is logistics. Think about it. You need cameras, a stable internet connection, and a secure location. Plus, you're committing crimes on video. It's risky and complicated. So while the idea of Red Rooms is indeed terrifying, the reality is that they're probably just an urban legend. But don't breathe a sigh of relief just yet. The dark web isn't all myths and horror stories. Real, horrifying stuff happens there. There are marketplaces for drugs, weapons, stolen data, and even human trafficking. One infamous case is the Silk Road, a massive online marketplace for illegal drugs. The FBI shut it down in 2013, but it proved just how far people are willing to go on the dark web. There have also been forums where people share disturbing content through nothing like the Red Room we're talking today. But just because the Red Room probably don't exist doesn't mean that the dark web is harmless. A lot of so-called Red Rooms are just scams. Someone will post a forum claiming they have access to a live torture stream and ask payment. Once they get your money, they disappear. There are also creepy videos on the surface web and YouTube that claim to be Red Room footage, but they're almost always fake. Think low-budget horror movies or ARGs, which are like alternate reality game, designed to scare people. A good example is Daisy's Destruction, a horrifying series of videos that circulated on the dark web. It wasn't a Red Room in the live streaming sense, but it was real crime involving abuse, and it led to arrest of people responsible. This case shows how real-world crimes can fuel Red Room myths. But here's the thing, why are we so fascinated with Red Rooms? It's partly because it plays on our deepest fears, losing control, seeing something we shouldn't, and the idea that evil could be just a few clicks away. The internet has always been a breeding ground of urban legends, from Slenderman to Momo, and you know, we love scaring ourselves. Red Rooms are just the latest chapter in this tradition. Before this thing is over, I'm gonna tell you how to stay safe online. The dark web isn't something to mess with if you're not experienced. Even just browsing can expose you to malware, scams, or worse. First of all, the first rule of the dark web is that you don't have to download anything. Don't download random softwares. If you don't know what it is, don't trust it. Avoid sketchy links, especially one claiming to be Red Room or other illegal activity. And for the love of God, use a VPN and antivirus software if you're exploring the internet darker corners. And the fourth rule is to report illegal content to the authorities. And with that thing said, stay safe.